Pucks Across Borders on Total Apex Sports and Sports Addict Live, brought to you by the one, the only First Round Collectibles. Right now, with our promo code Sports Addict, get 10% off whatever sports card you want in the entire First Round Collectibles store. Baseball playoffs, full swing. Football, full swing. Hockey, getting underway. Basketball, right around the corner. Wrestling, boxing, whatever you want. They got it at firstroundcollectibles.com. Use our promo code SportsAddict for 10% off whatever sports card you want. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com. That's the number one, STRoundcollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, the beast.
And welcome to Pucks Across Borders on a beautiful Thursday afternoon. We got games to talk about from last night, games to talk about tonight. Lots going on. The season just started, but there's lots going on. I am Mark Sauter, as always. Thanks you for watching Pucks Across Borders on Total Apex Sports and Sports Addict Live, brought to you by our friends at First Round Collectibles. Use promo code SportsAddict for 10% off whatever card you want in the entire store. firstroundcollectibles.com. I am with, as always, Andre. How we feeling on a Thursday, man? I know you got a lot. Rangers, Yankees, playoffs. There's a lot weighing on you right now.
Yeah, Rangers, kudos to them for being the stress-free part of my night. Yesterday. Don't play today, but them Yankees, man, it's the playoffs. We're not here for MLB therapy session though, so we can do that a little bit later.
So, like I said, we got games to talk about tonight, but first, as always, this is our first official takeaway segment of the NHL season. We got games to talk about. What did you take away from the NHL slate last night?
Yeah, there was a lot that happened out west when a lot of you East Coasters might have been sleeping. And of the three games, a lot to take away from each. I think the most pressing would be the Oilers off to another. I mean, it's too early to call this a slow start, but getting shut out at home in your first game, losing 6-0 in your it's not how you want to start the year, especially since last year that disastrous start is the reason you barely made the playoffs. The reason you know, if you're looking at the Stanley Cup Finals, you were down 3-0. You could say that's the reason you weren't lifting the cup. So the Oilers keep putting themselves behind the 8 ball, and I know it's only one game, but man, this team we thought would come out swinging. Instead, while the Panthers were cruising to victory on Tuesday, the Oilers are the ones that looked like they had the cup hangover.
Oh, yeah. That game last night, like, I'll just, full disclosure, watching the Leafs game. The Leaf game was over. My wife was out last night. I'm watching my son. So the Leaf game was over. Before I write my game review for Total Apex Sports, I gotta put my kid down, gotta get him ready for bed, brush his teeth, all that good stuff. I get back from doing that and it was like 5-0 already. Like it was like this is done. I think it was actually like 2-3-0. But yeah, that's an absolute shocker. What I learned, I mean, there's quite a different ways to go. I could talk about my Leafs. I told you they would lose last night, although they deserve to win that game. They, I think, 48 save shutout by Sam Montembeau. The Leafs deserve to win that game. You could go to Vegas, Colorado. That game, I feel like, is going to be what we see from those two teams all year, just back and forth in the standings all year long. I know it's just one game, and we could do a whole other segment. It's only one game, but it's only one game, but similar to what you said with the Oilers, the Calgary Flames, man, they're down 4-1 against Vancouver. In Vancouver, losing that game, getting dominated in pretty much every way. 4-2 before the period's over. Third period starts 4-3, 4-4. They take the lead. Then they give up the lead with like 30 seconds left. It's tied 5-5. And then Zari scores in overtime. And the Flames come back. They're down 4-1. They come back. They win the game. I really, really do feel like it. And once again, it's only one game, but I really feel like this Flames team is going to be better than people think. Clearly, I think that their goaltending, even though it is just one game, I think this is what we're going to get from their goaltending. Like, I don't think it's very good. Vladar played last night. We'll see what we get from the Dustin Wolf kid. But this Flames team has some fight, man. They have some bite, and they have good players. And I'm interested to see as the season unfolds. Last night, it's a rivalry. It's crazy. The fact that, you can say what you want about the Oilers. They just started flat and were never in that game. The Canucks had that game. Like, that was the Canucks game to lose. You're up 4-1 against the Calgary Flames. You got to close that out. And I can't remember the exact stat, but I think it was Shilovs gave up 6 goals on 18 shots, I want to say. I'm pretty sure it was like 18 shots or something like that.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah. And
it was, he had 20 saves, 6 goals, 20 saves.
Sorry, bro, you broke up. What'd you say?
Still really bad.
Okay.
I say he had 6 goals allowed. Saves. It was just pretty bad.
I know that nobody cares about my fantasy team, and I keep bringing it up because I'm just self-absorbed, and that's just the way it is. You want to know who my 2 starters were in net last night? I had 2 starters in net last night, and at one point in time, it looked really good. At about 11:30 or so, my 2 starters looked terrific. Aiden Hill and Shilovs were my 2 starters last night. Sheila, at least Aiden Hill, 28 saves, 32 shots against. Shilovs, like you said, 20 saves, 26 shots against. So let me pull this up here. I have a combined 828 save percentage and a 497 goals against average from last night. So that was a hard pill to swallow. All right. Is there anything else from last night? I know like your Rangers, that was like no contest, but is there anything else to bring out from last night?
Battles going. Hellebuck and Shesterkin both 30 save shutouts. I think that's worth pointing out. Against, the Oilers more so than the Penguins, but against teams that are you'd expect to score. So I think that's worth pointing out. Adam Fox did kind of screw me on a parlay, but it's what it is. You can live with that.
Yeah, that's bound to happen. That's okay. I had a lot tied up in the Leafs, and they didn't even get 1 goal last night. I'm looking this up. You're talking about Shesterkin. You're talking about Hellebuck. Those are all chalk, blah, blah, blah. Sam Montembeau, 48 save shutout, plus 25,000 to win the Vesna. Get your ticket now. That'll be way shorter in a couple weeks. We wait and see. Plus 25K. Yeah, lock it in now. That price is not going to get better for you. All right. Speaking of the Habs, they play tonight. Speaking of the Leafs, they play tonight. Your guys. So, do the Yankees play tonight? They're off, right?
No, Yankees play at 8.
Oh, they do play tonight. Okay, so you're not completely off. I thought no Rangers, the Yankees. All right, so let's just dive right into it, man. We got a lot to get into tonight. As always, thank you for watching on Sports Act Live or Total Apex Sports. Let's start it off. I guess we'll start it off with my guys, the Toronto Maple Leafs, on the road, back-to-back in New Jersey against former coach Sheldon Keefe. The Devils off to a 2-0 start from the Global Series, and of course the Leafs losing 1-0 in Montreal last night. The Leafs were plus 116 literally 10 minutes ago when I punched this in on FanDuel. Now, they were plus 120, and now they're back down to plus 116. So things move quick on this show, you know. Devils minus 140 now, no longer minus 142. Plus 1.5 for the Leafs is minus 205. Minus 1.5 for the Devils, plus 168. The over is 6.5 at minus 120. The under is 6.5. Obviously as well at minus 102. For the Leafs, we do not know who is starting. Joseph Woll is already on the IR. Of course he is. The season hasn't even literally just started, and he's on the IR. Stolarz started last night, so we could see Dennis Hildeby get his first start in the NHL tonight. Nothing has been said as far as I've seen on that so far. Andre, what do you got? Devils, Leafs in Newark.
I just want to point out that I'm kind of going in blind on these odds here. I'm having a lot of technical issues, and so is DraftKings. So that's not a good start. What I do know, I expect this to be a high-scoring game. I'm very aware that the Leafs did not score yesterday. That's not going to happen again. And the Devils, they're a good offensive team. They were last year, even when they struggled. They should be this year. Looking at last year's matchups between these teams, I guess you can just say earlier this spring, they were all in 2024. 6-2, 6-5. You got Hughes, you got Matthews, there's a lot of other guys I could name, but that would just be monotonous. There's no need to do it. Taking the over in this one all the way. I think I am going to take the Devils to go 3-0. I think I would take that 60-minute line, and I think it's because the goaltending situation you just brought up kind of in limbo. The defensive situation, and they had a nice long break. They've had some regular season hockey, obviously, but they got some time off because they got to play in Prague. They're in front of their home fans now. The home fans have a lot of expectations for them. The crowd should be excited, should be energized. I think they're going to play really well and show up for the fans. So I'll take the Devils 60-minute line. I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, I'm really interested in what you said about the rest, because I was thinking about that as well this morning as I was writing my game preview on totalapexsports.com. Shameless plug. I was thinking about that this morning too, and I was thinking about it like, this could go one of two ways, right? It could be either the team that they played in Europe on the weekend, they got home Sunday, they've been resting all week, they're ready to go, they're fired up. Jacob Markstrom, I'm assuming, will get the start tonight for the Devils. And the Leafs played last night. So you're traveling from Montreal to Newark, and tired legs, third period comes around, you're tired. Or it could go the other way, where the Devils have been sitting around all week. I mean, they've been practicing, I'm sure, but maybe it takes them a period to kind of get their legs beneath them. Maybe the Leafs can get 1 or 2 goals in that first period, get up on them. So I I feel like this could go kind of both ways. Unfortunately, I'm right there with you. I do think the Devils win tonight, and I do think Sheldon Keefe gets his revenge and they win tonight. I just think for the Leafs, it's because of the result last night, it's kind of turned into a tough start, right? You play a rival on the road, then you play again the next night. They get tomorrow off, and their home opener is on Saturday. By no means am I worried about this. No, by no means am I like, you should. The city of Toronto, though, it doesn't take much time for doom and gloom to settle in. But I'm going to pick the Devils to win tonight as well. The odds just dropped for the regular money line at minus 138. So if you don't want to go on the 60-minute line, minus 138. Still paying some juice, but I don't hate it. I do think that they win tonight. I just think it's always a good bet. Is Austin Matthews to score a goal. He's minus 110. He was minus 135 by the time the puck dropped yesterday. So if you're going to bet on him to get a goal, bet on him now because that will move the other way. He's minus 110 to get a goal. I am interested to see, and I could see a world where the Leafs, I mean, obviously the Leafs could win this game. That's obvious. They played really, really well last night for the most part. Just my quick 30-second, nerd out when it comes to the Maple Leafs. The way Berube wants them to play is much, much different than with Sheldon Keefe. With Sheldon Keefe, it's a lot of east-west hockey, a lot of cross-rink passes, a lot of where with Berube, it's a lot of north-south. It's really heavy, really physical, really heavy forechecking. And you could see last night what the difference is going to be with Berube behind the bench. And I also believe, and this is going to be something to watch as the season goes on, that style of play just by default is going to result in less goals. I think we're going to see a lot more 3-2, 2-1 games in Leafland this year. And I'll be interested to see how that works out. For that reason, I'm kind of leaning on the under. If Hildeby does start tonight, we've literally never seen him play in the NHL before. He's been very, very good with the Marlies. He's kind of their up-and-coming guy. But we've never seen him play in the NHL. So I can see a world where that, flips on its head and the over hits, but I kind of do like the under, and I like the Devils on the money line. All right, moving on to two of our favorite teams. We love these teams. We talk about these teams as often as we can. The Los Angeles Kings and the Buffalo Sabres. Even money, minus 110 on both sides. Minus 1.5 for the Kings is plus 220. Plus 1.5 for the Sabres, minus 275. The over is 6.5, plus 110. The under is minus 134. What do you got, Kings, Sabres?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Our two favorite teams, huh? We trust them so much. Buffalo, 0-2, mustered a measly 2 goals in Prague. Lost both games by multiple goals. They also get their home debut. Not quite as exciting. And the Kings, what are the Kings? We don't know. I mean, I guess we know a little bit. They're really good defensively. Take the under in this one. Buffalo can't score. The Kings are stout defensively, great in net. Not great in net. They're good in net. They're good enough, right? Buffalo probably won't score that much again, you would have to think. And then, do we trust the Kings to beat the total by themselves? Probably not. Not at the 6.5 it is on FanDuel. Not at the 6.5 it is on pretty much every sports book. So I like the under in this one a lot in lieu of taking a side. If I had to trust a team, it's minus 110. guess the Kings, they got swept by the Sabres last year. I can't see that happening again. I think we do just trust them a little bit more offensively, but is there a lot to like in this game from a betting standpoint besides the under? And even then, the odds aren't that great for that. So,
No, I mean, I'm with you there on the under, and I do like the Kings here. I think minus 110. I know it's on the road. I know it's the first game of the year, but minus 110 is kind of a steal for the Kings, to be honest. I think if we go back to last year in November, December, this exact game, the Kings are favored like minus 130, even though it's on the road. So I kind of like minus 110. I wouldn't get too greedy with the 60-minute line or nothing like that, but I do like the Kings minus 110. The interesting thing is, like you said, man, we don't really know what either of these teams are, but I think we do know that the Kings are better than the Sabres. We do know that. We don't know like how much better or what exactly the Kings are, but we know they're better than the Sabres. The goaltending, I'm really interested in, man. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, the best name to say in hockey. He had a good game in Europe until it wasn't. And he's probably playing tonight. And Darcy Kemper is in net for the Kings, and I don't really know what that means. So where I think you can find value, and of course, like what you're saying about the under, the like goal scoring market is all plus money. You're not finding any Austin Matthews minus 110. Tage Thompson did score in Prague. He's plus 170. Trevor Moore, who just quietly scores 30 goals every single year, he's plus 280 to get a goal tonight. And our guy, Quentin Byfield, fresh off a new contract, ready to go. He's plus 320 to score tonight. So you can find some value in the goal scoring market for sure. But I'll take that under with you, and I will take the minus 110 as well. All right, moving on. Florida Panthers on the road. Ottawa for their home opener. Ottawa plus 112 at home. Panthers minus 134 on the road. Minus 1.5 for Florida is plus 184. Plus 1.5 for Ottawa, minus 225. The over is 6.5 at minus 102. And the under is minus 120. Panthers in Ottawa. Ottawa, fresh off signing Linus Ullmark. That one kind of caught me off guard. I don't really follow the Ottawa beat like super closely, but I figured for him to sign long term, it would take a while. Like I feel like he would have wanted to kind of see how the season went or whatever, but no, he's locked in 4 years, 8.25 per. Andre, what do you got? Florida, Ottawa.
Yeah, clearly we were wrong to assume the Panthers would, have some type of cup hangover.
That was a cold take by us. Yeah,
that did not age well at all.
No.
And against this Ottawa team, I mean, they've won 9 of the last 10 dating back to March 2022. Last year specifically, 5-0 win, 3-2 OT win, 6-0 win, 2-0 win. The two biggest blowouts were in Ottawa, so they're clearly not scared of the road. I don't think you should be scared to take them here either. Maybe Ullmark steals one. You never know, but I think if we're going to go stick with cold takes today, Florida's very much the better team still. So minus 134 is honestly good enough for me just to win the game. The defending champs came out swinging, had a day off, just better in pretty much every way, right? So, yeah, minus 134, minus 135, minus 130, whatever it is at your book, I think that's good enough. If you want to get cute, 60-minute lines available, puck lines available. They did dominate them last year. We don't know what the Senators team is going to be with Ullmark, so that's why I'm kind of just taking the easy way out here. But it's with those odds, it's good enough for me, especially with the recent dominance over Ottawa and just in general over the league.
Yeah, this is another curious one. New head coach, new goaltender. On paper, this should be 1 goal, maybe 2 goal game, but nothing crazy, like 3-1, maybe 4-2, empty netter. But excuse me, the biggest knock on Ottawa last year was just their defensive discipline. It was awful. It was non-existent for the majority of the year. And Travis Green, like new coach, how long does it take for new systems and new schemes to get put into place? And if it's at all similar to what it was last year, how long into the game before Linus Allmark goes, what in the world is this? Like going from Boston, one of the most defensively disciplined teams in the NHL, to the Ottawa Senators is quite the culture shock. And I'm interested to see how that unfolds. I do think Florida minus 134 is the right play here. I don't really know why. This is not statistically related at all. I know Bobrovsky's in net. I know Allmark's between the pipes. I kind of like the over. There's something about this game that's saying 5-4, 5-3, 4-3. I don't know. It feels high scoring, and most Ottawa games are high scoring just because they're all over the place. So I am really curious to see what the new coach brings right off the bat, what the new goalie brings right off the bat. Again, 2 really good goaltenders. I'm not going to put this in as my best bet or nothing like that, but I kind of like the over at minus 102. And I think there's a reason why it's not favored to the over, but it's still minus money. So I'm interested to see how that unfolds, but I'll go with you on the Florida minus 134. All right, moving on. Montreal. We're talking about Montreal from last night. They are in Boston for Boston's home opener. Boston minus 280 after a tough loss. The scoreboard looks close, but it wasn't. They got spanked by Florida on Tuesday night. Montreal plus 225. Plus 220 now, minus 275 now for Boston. Plus 1.5 for Montreal is minus 111. Minus 1.5 for Boston is minus 108, which is a really curious stat line. I guess they played last night. Probably Caden Primo will be in net for Montreal. I'm sure that all has something to do with it. The over 6.5 plus 110. The under minus 134. What do you got, Habs Bruins?
Yeah, so Montreal played last night. That's a big one. And they played a tight game. They played a tough game. They played a tough team. So that's already a disadvantage compared to Boston, who got smacked on national TV. Now they're returning home to a fan base that they've let down a lot, but it's still going to be energized because there's still hope for a run. So right off the bat, a Canadiens team that on paper is not as good, doesn't have the circumstances on their side. Then you look recent history, Bruins won 9 of the last 10. The only Montreal win was an OT. This game screams Bruins to me. I'm going to take the minus 1.5. Not really trusting Montreal's offense, and with this total at 6.5, I know it's minus 130, minus 135, whatever. I think that's the right play here too. I just think, Bruins, nice and simple, 4-1, 5-1 type win. That's what it should be. That's what I'm expecting.
So the one thing that I'm curious about, and I agree with you, I do. The one thing, and this could just be classic overthinking on my part, the one thing that I'm curious about, though, is Jeremy Swayman is projected to start tonight. And I can't help but just feel like you missed training camp. I think long term, like we talked about this the other day, like long term, I think it's fine. He'll be fine. But you miss training camp, you don't practice with the team for the whole month of September. You got to think that means something, right? Like, is he just going to come out and be the Swayman that we saw in the playoffs? I don't know about that. So I was getting ready to roll with you there. I kind of, with Swayman starting tonight, and again, could be overthinking, but with Swayman starting tonight, I'm kind of leaning Canadians plus 1.5. I think that minus 111 number is really nice. They can lose. It's no big deal. They lose by 1 goal. I'm kind of leaning Montreal plus 1.5. I know they played last night, and I do think the Bruins getting their doors blown off the other night. They're going to want to come back with a vengeance. But something about Jeremy Swayman starting, I don't know. That offense with Montreal, they create a lot of chances. They don't have a ton of goal scorers, but I mean, yeah, I'm not sold on it. But I'm kind of feeling that minus 111 plus 1.5 for Montreal. And I'm kind of leaning on the under. I don't know. We'll see what happens. As you can tell the tone in my voice, I'm not overly confident on it, but something about Swayman starting just has me thrown off.
I mean, I think that's valid because I don't know about you. I've never trusted goalies that don't make at least 12 mil a year. So,
Yeah,
this is
that. Yeah, chump change, 8.25. And isn't that hilarious too? Like, I do wonder behind the scenes. Like, I do wonder if Allmark and Ottawa had a contract written up already, but he was like, let's just wait to see what Swayman gets, and I just want exactly the same thing. Just minus 4 years. Because literally Swayman signs, huh?
So they should ask for just 1 cent more,
Yeah, exactly. Because like they just do everything together. They like love each other, and they're just like, he's like, I'll sign extension. Don't worry. Just give me exactly what Swayman's making and we'll be okay. All right. Moving on to I'm just so uninterested in the Islanders, man. I don't know if anyone's watching right now who also watched us when we first started this show back last October. Our boy Vin from Total Apex Sports will be joining us again here shortly in the next, I don't know, couple days, maybe next week, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Huge Islanders fan, and I can't wait to talk to him because I want to know. Is it possible to be hot or cold on this team, or is it just every hockey fan is just lukewarm? Because I have no idea what we're getting. The Islanders minus 156 favorites. I know they're at home. I don't know. I don't get it, but it's whatever. Minus 156 Islanders, plus 130 are the Utah Hockey Club, plus 128 now. Plus 1.5 for Utah's minus 205, minus 1.5 for the Islanders, plus 168. The over is 5.5 at minus 128. The under is plus 104. What do you got, Utah Islanders?
The undefeated, never lost in Salt Lake City
in franchise history. Yeah,
Utah Club. Kudos to them. Do I think they can go on the road for the first time? Why are we talking about this team like they didn't exist last year? And it's actually covers.com has wiped all of Arizona's games from the Utah Hockey Club. So it's like they're just brand new. It's like looking at the Kraken and the Knights. It's not like it's a team that was in a desert last year. I don't know what that's about. Is it possible to feel any type of positive or negative emotion about the Islanders, strictly talking on ice product sense? I don't think it is. I think they just exist in a vacuum as the perfectly mediocre team. And for that reason, I think I'm going to take the Utah Hockey Club over them because I told you previewing the season, second year coach, I expect regression. We saw it with them in Colorado, and for as well as they did do down the stretch last year, I don't think it was sustainable. And it was kind of like the vibes thing, just pushing them through, and then they finally met a good team and realized who they were, and all the mistakes started coming back. I just think who they are is going to start shining again. I think it's going to start tonight. I think they let down the building and take an L to the Utah Hockey Club, who again has never lost in franchise history. The total of 5.5, though, I'm going to take the over. Not because I have a team that's extraordinary offensively. I just think it's too low for a game like this. And again, with Islanders goaltending, they're kind of in limbo. Sorokin had a rough year. Wow, pretend I didn't do that. I know that's Patrick Waugh's guy, but is he capable of shutting down offenses as a true number one goalie? No. So I don't know who they're starting yet because I don't have the sports books available, but I don't trust either option.
Yeah, I'll look that up for you real quickly. So FanDuel has Connor Ingram and Varlamov between the pipes tonight. I'm right there with you, man. I mean, my favorite bet in this game, if I have to, like, I'm not betting this game in my personal life. I'm staying away from this. This whole thing screams of who in the world knows, but I do like the over for that reason. I think whoever wins, we're looking at a 4-3, 5-4 game. Maybe 4-2 even. The over is only 5.5. I think the days of the Islanders, every single Islanders game having a total of 4 goals or less, I think those days are behind us. Not just a knock on the goaltending, but I just think the style, the players that you have don't allow for that style anymore. It's just a different team, different players, and you just can't play that way anymore, I don't think. So I'll take the under. If I have to take a side, I'll take Utah as well. I do. Funny enough, like my favorite way to bet the Islanders last year was on the prop market. Like they do have players who come through with regards to props. Brock Nelson's plus 190 to score tonight. Paul Mary plus 220. Your guy, Anthony Duclair, that guy's a spark plug, man. He'll be hyped up. He might get one to the back of the net tonight. He's plus 250. Dylan Gunther scored the first goal in Utah history on Tuesday night. He's plus 260. Clayton Keller plus 185. But I really do like Brock Nelson, man. For him to score, like I said, is plus 190, and for him to get 3 shots on net tonight is minus 113. So I really like Brock Nelson in the prop market. But I like the over the most. If I have to pick a side, I'll take Utah, but I'm probably going to stay away from that one completely. All right. Moving on to Minnesota, where the Wild minus 285 take on the Columbus Blue Jackets plus 230. Blue Jackets plus 1.5 is minus 108. Minus 1.5 for the Wild is minus 118. I feel like we're going to see that a lot this year with the Blue Jackets. Like you're only going to find value with and that's just kind of the way it is. We actually just had breaking news as the show started. Blue Jackets captain Boone Jenner out indefinitely after undergoing shoulder surgery. And the management said, our hope is that he can return before the end of the season. So that's just another knock on this Blue Jackets season. And it's tough over there, man. I don't want to knock. We like to poke fun at teams, and this is one of those situations where it's like you can't poke fun at it, man. It sucks. And but nevertheless, if you're betting and you're looking for value and you don't want to bet the Blue Jackets to win all year long, you're going to see value in the +1.5 market for this team. That being said, I didn't give out the totals. Over 6.5 is -104. Under is -118. I'm taking the Wild -1.5 here. I think I just have to see what the Blue Jackets are before we start putting money in them. I do really like Sean Monahan on the team. I like Fantilli. I think he's going to take another big step. They got some good young players who can score. But as of right now, I'll take Minnesota -1.5, and I'll probably stay away from the total. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I was looking at the total. I was leaning over at first, but I'm not really sure what Columbus is going to be offensively or defensively. So it's just kind of weird. I do like the Wild for sure. That -1.5 is a lock to me. I was interested in their team total goals, 3.5 or 4.5. I think I would take the over on that. But yeah, Wild blowout win. I think that's the consensus here.
All right, moving on to Dallas and Nashville, which it's kind of sneaky because it's like buried in the list of games, like you're looking through and we've already talked about 6 games already. My opinion, the best game of the night, Dallas, Nashville. Not only do we get to finally look at this new look Predators team, but we get to see it while they're playing one of the best teams in the National Hockey League, who both of these teams have cup aspirations. The Dallas Stars were 2 wins away from making it to the finals last year. I'm a little bit surprised by these odds just because lots of Nashville hype this summer. They're at home. I'm a little bit surprised that the odds are the way they are, but they are the way they are. So Dallas on my screen here, it's -118 and -102. But right now, Dallas is -120 favorites, while Nashville is +100. -1.5 for Dallas, +202. +1.5 for Nashville is -250. Over 6.5, +100. Under is -122. I do feel like you got +100 right now on FanDuel. If you're leaning Nashville, bet it now, because I do think this is going to be minus money by the time it's all said and done. Andre, what do you got? Dallas, Nashville.
Yeah, so interesting quirk from last year between these teams. The road team won every game, shots on goal, matches in 3 of those games. The last 2 were actually blowouts. Stars 9-2 in Nashville, and then Sabres, Predators 6-3.
You watch your mouth.
Dallas. Yeah. I saw that saber-tooth tiger. I think that trend ends tonight. I'm buying into this Nashville team. I think we're both very high on them. I think goaltending edge, I would give it to Saros over Andre. I think I trust him more day in, day out. So right off the bat, I like that. They finished the season stronger, talking about the regular season at least. Offense should be there, defense should be there, coaching should be there. It's going to be a really good one. I agree with you that this is probably the game of the night. I'm rolling with the Predators. I think they're going to send a message tonight. I think they're here to stay.
I'm right there with you. I'm taking Nashville as well. The thing about Dallas that it's going to be a question on my mind, at least for the first few months of the season, is you got Heiskanen, you got Harley. There's another defender that's good that is escaping my mind right now. But beyond that, that defensive unit is not what it was last year. Still a very potent offensive team, still a very good team, and they still are absolutely capable of going on a run. But that defensive unit is not what it was last year. So I'm curious to see how that kind of unfolds. And And the other part of it, to play devil's advocate on the Nashville side of things is you have Stamkos, you have Marchessault, you have Shea on the back end, and you do have a lot of changes. So it might take them a couple weeks to really gel together, but that city, Nashville, is going to be on fire tonight, ready to go. I was watching that Amazon series Face Off, and we also talked about this last year during the playoffs when we were watching. Nashville looks like a party to watch a hockey game, man. That I never thought it would, but Nashville has entered my bucket list of places I want to go see a hockey game. So I'm right there with you, man. I'll take Nashville as well at plus 100. Total staying away from it. These are both really good goaltenders. The over 6.5, there's a reason why it's plus money. So I'll stay away from that and just take Nashville. And I mean, listen, you got to. Steven Stamkos plus 185 to score tonight. Philip Forsberg plus 140. Philip Forsberg, people forget how good this guy is. He's plus 140. Jonathan Marchessault, man, plus 250. Feel like that's really good value for that guy. Plus 250 for Jonathan Marchessault. All right, moving on. Your other favorite team, Pittsburgh Penguins, are in Detroit. 8 o'clock start in Detroit. Plus 114 are the Pittsburgh Penguins. Minus 134 are the Detroit Red Wings. Plus 1.5 for Pittsburgh. Minus 215. Minus 1.5 for the Red Wings. Plus 176. The over is 6.5 at minus 120. The under is minus 102. What do you got?
I think we know where we're going with. I'm going with this at least. Penguins aren't going to get shut out again. That's the good news. Bad news is second half of the back-to-back, got blanked, got your backup goalie, and you're facing a lethal offense, facing a team that's hungry, wants to get to the playoffs after falling apart and costing themselves the shot last year. I know the odds are good enough on their own, minus 137. You could take them. I would love that puck line. I would love that 16-minute line. I think Detroit's going to run away with this game. I think they're too fast. And against an older team like the Penguins, especially one that did play yesterday, fatigue is going to be a factor. They're just not going to have the legs to keep up in this one. So I like the Detroit puck line. I think this is a comfortable win for them. I would take the over as well. It's a Red Wings game. You know what you got to do. I think they're going to score at least 4 goals. I'd probably have them at like 5 or 6. So that right there covers most of the total. Give me the Red Wings puck line, though, more than anything. And it's very, very juicy odds.
Yeah, really good odds. I think that you're right, and I understand what you're saying, and it's logical for sure. It's the same thing we talked about, obviously different, but it's the same thing we talked about with the Leafs and the Devils tonight, back to back. But the Pittsburgh Penguins, to me, this is so. I know they have Cam Talbot in net for Detroit. I know he's a good goaltender, but he's, gettable. It's not strange for Cam Talbot to allow 3-4 goals. I know Pittsburgh's got Nemalkovich. I've been butchering names the last couple of weeks, by the way. I got to start brushing up on these things. They got him in net most likely tonight. That game was over like after an hour and a half. I think Pittsburgh moved on to Detroit in the middle of the second period. And I think Pittsburgh bounces back tonight, actually. I do. I like the plus 112 on the money line. I kind of feel like it should be a bit longer odds, in my opinion, but I'll take it. Plus 112. I like Pittsburgh to bounce back tonight. Sidney Crosby, man, the guy just signed for 2 more years. There's too much pride and veteran leadership in that locker room to get destroyed by the Rangers last night and lay an egg again in Detroit. I feel like Pittsburgh is going to come back and win tonight. They're plus 112. No goals last night. Sidney Crosby plus 150 to get a goal tonight. At the beginning of the year last year, kind of tailed off towards the end, but Alex DeBrincat was scoring every single night at the beginning of the year last year. He's plus 185 to get a goal tonight. And on the shot market, what did I just do? On the shot market, Patrick Kane, 3+ goals, minus 130 for 3+ shots. Sorry. 3+ goals would be much, much longer odds. 3+ shots for Patrick Kane is minus 130. All right, moving on. And so it begins. It doesn't have a 2 in front of it, but still very, very long odds for a road favorite. The St. Louis Blues are traveling to our favorite city in America, San Jose Sharks, plus 130. Sorry, my screen just went AWOL here. Where are we? San Jose. Yeah, okay, so wow, this took a turn. It was minus 156. It's now minus 162 for the Blues, plus 134 for the Sharks at home. Minus 1.5, though, plus 158 for the Blues, which is interesting to me. Plus 1.5 for the Sharks, minus 192. What game was it? Yeah, the Montreal game where plus 1.5 was minus 110, minus 1.5 is minus 120. Yet the Blues are playing the Sharks and it's plus 158 for minus 1.5. That's interesting to me. Over 5.5, minus 130. Under is plus 106. What do you got? Last game of the night, the only nightcap, by the way, which I'm a little bit kind of peeved about, but it is what it is. What do you got? Blues, Sharks.
Yeah, so just in case people need a reminder, I don't think I've said this often enough the past couple of weeks, but the San Jose Sharks swept the St. Louis Blues last year. 5-1 at home, 4-0 on the road, and a 3-2 OT win in April. They had their number. And as much as I don't think the Blues are a good team, I have to give them credit for that comeback in Seattle. And as much as I don't think the Blues are a good team, I don't think they're going to let the Sharks dominate them again. So I think the Sharks can be better this year. I don't think it's going to start the way they want it to, though. I think the Blues take this game. The odds are tricky because I could see this one going to overtime. Sharks plus 1.5, you can't really take. Blues money line straight up. It's a little too pricey for me. I don't like the 60-minute line. Puck line, obviously, if I think it's going to be a 1-goal potential overtime game. So staying away from all of that. I think I'm going to roll with the under. I know it's 5.5. I know it's small. I know the Sharks and everything like they were supposed to improve on this offseason was the offense, but their goaltending tended to play up at home last season. I think they can keep the Blues in check again. They only allowed 3 goals against them all the last season in 3 games. On the other side, the Blues, your boy, Binnington, got off to a good start in Seattle. I think they can handle what San Jose has to throw at them. So, actually, it was Binnington that started the game. Never mind. Yeah, I think they can handle what San Jose has to throw at them. So, I'm going to take the under 5.5 here at the plus odds.
So, I know that the books don't just throw odds together. Did you hear that sound? Did you hear that?
Very, very faintly, yeah.
That's my life, dude. Just random kids' toys just talking to me at random times. I don't even know how that happened. But anyway, I know that the books don't just throw numbers together. They don't just think of something random. It's all calculated. There's a reason for this. And I'm going to buy it. I'm going to bite hook, line, and sinker, and I'm taking the Blues -1.5. I feel like plus 158 is really, really good value, and I'm falling for it. I just think the Sharks right now, like, they are going to be better. How much better? I think, like, Binnington had a terrific game overall against Seattle. The Kraken got out to that 2-0 start, and he shut the door on them. That was a really, really good game by St. Louis. The first half of the game looked like the St. Louis that you were talking about, and then the last half looked like the St. Louis that I was talking about. So I'm interested to see what happens with that moving forward. But I'm taking the Blues -1.5 here, plus 158. You do have some better betting options. What's interesting here is when you look at the goal scoring market on FanDuel anyway, you're getting Blues. You're not getting a Shark until you hit Macklin Celebrini at plus 250 and Tyler Toffoli plus 260 to get a goal in his Sharks debut. I don't mind that. I don't think they'll stay off the board entirely. I think that they'll put up a good fight, but I do like the Blues at -1.5 plus 158. All right, that's the last game on Thursday night, which brings us to our best bets, brought to you by the one, the only First Round Collectibles. Right now with our promo code Sports Addict, get 10% off whatever sports card you want in the entire First Round Collectibles store. Hockey, football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, boxing, you want it, they got it. Tell them we sent you. Use our promo code Sports Addict for 10% off. That's firstroundcollectibles.com, the number one STRoundCollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans. Andre, what do you got? Best bet for the evening?
Yeah, I'm considering taking the coward's way in the Panthers money line. If I'm looking down because I have to pull out the odds on my phone. At this point, I'm tired of fighting on my laptop. But I'm not going to do that because I got my best bet out of the way first day, feeling good about it. Want to have some stones, keep the plus odds train rolling. So I'm going to go to the Predators, who DraftKings conveniently has at plus 102.
You're going Predators, best bet.
Yeah.
Oh, risky.
I'm going to lock it in.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I know that we're on opposite sides of the track with this one, but I'm picking Blues -1.5. I think that plus 158 is just too. We're not on opposite sides. We're just not like fully on the same side. You have like one foot. You're standing on the tracks, which is dangerous. But
we've all been there.
Yeah, live a little. -1.5 plus 158 for the Blues. I literally just made my case. I don't need to go over it again. I know it's a trap, and I'm falling for it, and we'll see what happens.
I think it's really funny that they just gave us everything we both talked about all season in not even one game, one period. That second period was basically the last place Blues I'm expecting, and then they're going to be feisty and competitive Blues that you're talking about. It's good stuff from them.
100%.
Didn't make us wait.
And it cannot be talked about enough. Jordan Kyrou getting 2 goals in that game and literally taking the game over. Like, that is so important for this team. Like, he led the team in goals last year, did not lead the team in points. He needs to be their offensive leader, and not only their leader, he needs to take over games. Like, Jordan Kyrou is insanely talented. He's a really, really good player. And he's just too up and down. Like, he has the ability to take over a game. And he did the other day, and he needs to keep doing that. So I didn't even throw out his odds, because last year his odds burned me like every night, man. And I'm impressed with what we saw the other night from him, but I'm still not ready to fully bet him specifically yet. But what we saw for him the other day, man, he literally took that game over and won it. So that's really, really encouraging if you're a Blues fan. All right, man. What are we should talk about this beforehand, because we're like just completely unprofessional right now. But what do we like as a family play for our third bet of the night?
Yeah, so I was thinking, we were both agreed on the Panthers money line just being good odds, nice safe bet. I think we agreed on the under in Kings Sabres without any, further thought. So I think those are two options we can go for. The Wild -1.5 is another one I think is worth throwing out there.
Yeah, I think Wild -1.5. I think that's the one. What do you think?
I'm all for it. I don't see why not. They're home.
Because I can just, I can just see a world where I do think Florida -134 is a pretty safe bet. I can see a world where Ottawa shows up for at least one game this year and they win a game, and you never know. Kings, Sabres, I like the under. That's also -134. So if we like all three of the bets the same, and maybe even Minnesota a little bit more, and that's -111, why not? We'll take it.
All right, so that's our three, huh? We got Predators money line. That was mine. You had Blues -1.5. And I had the Wild, we had the Wild.
That's right.
1.5. I don't know what your odds are looking like. I have +901 on mine.
Love it. No, FanDuel has +880. So head over to DraftKings and place the parlay bet. Absolutely love it, man.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right, everybody. That is all of the games. Stay tuned to at Sport Addict Mark, which is my Twitter, for the Showtime tomorrow. Some time complications, whatever. We'll see what happens. And Total Apex Sports at Total Apex Sports. They'll have everything for you there as well. But we will be back talking about tomorrow's games at some point. Thank you so much for watching and listening. As always, FirstRoundCollectibles.com, promo code SportsAddict, TotalApexSports.com. We will see you tomorrow.
Go